I'm the artist taxi driver, and this, my friends.
This is the secret lobbying group, one of the most powerful in the world, above government, in the middle of this huge lobbying scandal. We've had to pay in the West, UK, Europe, US, trillions of dollars to bail out these globalists in the last few years. And then they sit there surrounded by taxpayer-funded ring of steel and police to protect them from the light of scrutiny, not from violence, while it's the Bilderberg group that's been caught financing terrorists,
They're
weapon
fucking
systems.
genociders, mate. They're out raping the war machine. Banks, oil, and arms. It's about the unseen.
That's right.
Alex.
People now want to discover what is above prime ministers and presidents. They told us nothing was above that. History shows there's always things above that. And now we're kind of like waking up from being children. It's like the end of childhood and realizing that indeed these mafia crooks are meeting. You know, J. Edgar Hoover, because they had photos of him dressed like a woman, the FBI director and founder in the United States. He testified before Congress in the 40s and early 50s that La Cosa Nostra, or Italian mafia, didn't even exist because they had photos of him dressed like a woman. Well, now they say there's no other mafia, no corporate mafia. Total, complete bullshit. We know the truth, and now we're here.
And the thing that they try to do, is they call it that you're a fucking conspiracy theorist. And they say you can't fucking say that 9/11 was caused by this. You can't fucking say this about that. But what people have to realise is things like in Ireland, where the British were actually, the British army were the terrorists.
Here's the reason they want to destroy everything. They don't just steal your money so they're rich. They steal your money so you're poor and under their control. That makes their money even more valuable. They want the austerity. Austerity for us, not for them. And again, it's not even real privatization. They come in and get a government guarantee and increase the prices. And so they make the profits private, but the losses public.
Exactly. That's what we got at the moment with the RBS. They will kill people for fucking for oil. What's that say?
Look at this. Half of Britons will have cancer within about 7 years.
The fucking NHS, it's more fucking money. They want fucking people ill.
Oh no, they put it in the vaccine. I mean, I've had major scientists on in India and places. The government has tested the vaccines. They put basically nanotech, high-tech cancer viruses, designer viruses in that go get in plaques. And when your hormone level goes down close to retirement, then it hits you, and then your whole retirement is sucked out to them.
Fucking drug dealers and money launderers in the fucking Bilderberg.
Well, they are the global mafia. That's why, I mean, when I would go cover this a long time ago, they would like point at me. We'd get threats, all sorts of stuff, because they're really arrogant. They don't want to be identified. Now they're actually really, really scared of the general public. And
so what are they doing now? They got a press zone. They're facilitating things because they want it to be more of a play now, because there is fucking unseen out there. These guys are the administrators. I know they're the head of Google, the fucking prime minister, but they are the administrators.
No, they're grooms of the stool.
Grooms of the fucking stool. I'm the Irish taxi driver.
Hello and welcome to this video cast for subscribers to davidicke.com. And I say this to people involved. I mean, people involved in trying to expose it, and what are called survivors, people who've suffered the abuse. Don't give in, because that's what they want. Part of this whole campaign is to say to other people that have evidence about this VIP ring, see, this is what happens if you speak out. Eh? Better stay quiet then. So it's blatantly obvious. Now, we're also having a tax at the moment on a man called Zac Goldsmith. He's being urged to withdraw his paedophile ring allegations. He's a Conservative MP as opposed to Tom Watson, who's the Labour MP. And this story says Zac Goldsmith told MPs in November that there had been a cover-up of abuse involving establishment figures at the guest house in Richmond, southwest London, and he's now facing questions from a former Conservative MP and the brother of Lord Britain. The Home Secretary, who's the centre of this hysteria, after he refused to withdraw claims made in Parliament about an alleged paedophile ring in his constituency. Sir Samuel Britton, the brother of the late former Home Secretary, said it would be helpful if Goldsmith clarified his statements by confirming that Britton was innocent of all charges. On what basis? When someone's name keeps coming up decade after decade, on what basis? And so this is part of this whole campaign where you take a little and you swipe it across the whole thing and say, it's all a hoax. Oh yeah, he's all innocent. This is the Leon Britton whose name turned up in government documents after he died, miraculously. This is the Leon Britton who was Home Secretary when a Conservative MP called Geoffrey Dickens gave him a dossier of alleged political paedophiles, big names, involved in a Westminster paedophile ring. And that document, after being given to Britton as Home Secretary, went missing. When this came to light in more recent times, and Britton was asked by the media what happened to this Dickens dossier, his first reaction was, I don't know anything about it. And then when that became untenable, oh yes, there was a bundle of documents and I handed it to, my staff in effect. And I don't know what happened to it after that. Well, you bloody well do. Hale said that special branch officers, this is the kind of elite end of the police force in Britain, said special branch officers arrived at the messenger's office, showed him a D notice. This is a law that just can shut you up if you're in the media without you having the ability to say, I've been shut up. It's democracy, see? Freedom. Showed him a D notice and warned him of imprisonment if he failed to hand over the dossier. Obviously, he said, I had to contact certain members named in the dossier and the Home Office for their response. Each call was met with shock horror as to why I should be wasting my time asking these daft questions as nothing was happening within Parliament. Current media campaign? When he said, I explained the detailed nature of the information available and that I couldn't reveal my source, you could almost hear a pin drop as officials were unsure as what to say or do. Then came the special branch visit, he said. And Hale went on, I was sworn to secrecy by special branch at the risk of jail if I repeated any of the allegations. When I met Barbara Castle again, he said, she apologised for the hassle caused and reluctantly admitted that she was fighting a formidable foe. Yes, she was. And it's a formidable foe, as I've been explaining and detailing in my books for decades, that infests every area of society, politics, and media in terms of the current campaign. Absolutely, you'll find it infesting those areas of British life and indeed life in societies all around the country. So now we have this campaign to trash the whole idea of a Westminster political paedophile ring for no other reason than protect the people involved and collectively protect the establishment, the system, from being exposed for the cesspit that it is. And how interesting that we have this campaign to rubbish this whole story and this whole perception. And here's a quote. Actually, she was talking to the Daily Telegraph, another one involved in this campaign to discredit it all. This is Theresa May, Home Secretary now. And this is what she said about paedophilia in Britain in relation to this VIP ring. Child sex abuse allegations made against public figures are just the tip of the iceberg, according to Home Secretary Theresa May, who also claim that such abuse is woven covertly into the fabric of British society, what I've been saying for 2 decades. Writing in the Daily Telegraph, Mrs. May said the public are yet to grasp the full scale of the scandal, which, she said, will lead into our schools and hospitals, our churches, our youth clubs, and many other institutions that should have been places of safety. And you know why they are yet to grasp the full scale? It's because the media have refused to address these things, and they've been forced to by the scale of evidence since the Savile scandal was exposed. And now that same media, much of it, is trying to rubbish those stories so that the public still don't grasp the scale of what's going on. And the victims, the kids now who are being abused and tortured and having their lives destroyed by these same rings today that don't exist according to these morons, they don't matter. Only the system matters. This is what May said. In my discussions with older victims and survivors and their representatives, I began to realize how abuse is woven covertly into the fabric of British society. During one of my first meetings with survivors, one lady said to me, "Get this inquiry right and it will be like a stick of Blackpool rock. You will see abuse going through every level of society." And May said, "I fear she is right. I have said before, and I shall say again, what we have seen so far is only the tip of the iceberg." Why didn't you mention that, Panorama? Why don't you include that in your stories recently? Daily Mail, Daily Telegraph, Times, and all the rest of you. Unfricking believable.